All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat, Volume 70, RIP 69. Our weekly Solo Man podcast where we talk about everything: news, reviews, discussions, new games, updates, announcements, trailers, PC support, all the things, including haptic vests, PSVR2 related. What is up, guys? So good to see each and every one of you. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful week. We've got some important things to talk about today, including some big new announced games that are looking pretty good. And then after a long time of silence, finally, a little bit of an update on Aces of Thunder, the highly anticipated World War II competitive online shooter. Stay tuned for more after these messages. Before we get started, this is, of course, Interactive Chat, where I like to interact with you guys and say, what is up to Hasib Mirza? Really quick on the dot. Just Hasib in the crowd, in the audience today. What up, Hasib? It's like playing a live show, and there's just like one dude just like sitting there, like jamming out. That's Hasib. Appreciate you, homie. Also want to thank these lovely people that support me on patreon.com/PSVR Underground. Appreciate your love and support. Right back at you guys as always. And yeah, man. Also want to give a quick shout out to a tip that I missed last week from my dude Sal. Sal, how have I betrayed you like this? Not like this. Who tipped last week, and I totally missed it somehow. But he tipped and said, for all you do and going to do with PCVR, you and the peeps rock. You rock, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. And of course, lastly, the last way you can support this show is you can go to vr-rock.com and use the promo code AJPSVR and get yourself a discount on some lenses. I don't, you got to have the lenses, man. I recommend prescription, but at the very least, and I don't really care who you get them from, to be honest with you. I just like VR Rock, and I have the discount code. I also hear really great things about Real Optics, but they take like 7 years to get there. Eventually. Can't wait to use my PSVR 1 lenses a little bit more. Now we got some people. Looks like those notifications are finally starting to go out. YouTube being slow today. What is up, Gummy Tarzan? Quill, the giant enemy crab game cat. Hello. Headbite says support AJ. Support Headbite. I support you, Headbite. All right, guys. So we got a bunch to talk about today. Some really important things. We're going to be covering a little bit of everything. There's a new game releasing tomorrow, or maybe released today. I don't even know anymore. Retropolis. And this is one that you don't want to sleep on. So I definitely stay tuned to hear a little bit about that. Also going to have to talk about the dreaded news of Astrobot. Actually, the director over at Team Asobi shared his reasoning behind why Astrobot is not coming to VR. Boo! And I've got some thoughts on that to share as well. But of course, what up? Feels yap. Feels yep. But yeah, man. So thank you. One last thing. Big thank you to everybody who caught the Haptics, the B-Haptics Tac Suit X40 video. Seemed like a lot of people really enjoyed that. So thank you for watching it and hitting that like button and all the support stuff that you guys do. That vest. Oh, you know what? I've got a little video I can be. Although Behemoth looks great. I guess my Haptics vest video is moved. But yeah, man, I had a super fun time making that video. Obviously, testing the video was the highlight. I mean, testing the suit was the highlight here. I don't know if this video is going to work. Because reasons. Well, while I'm getting this video up and running, Nihilus Ryan, my metal feline friend, says happy Exo Thursday. Metal. That's right, my friend. Thank you so much for the donation and the support right back at you, my friend. Well, I was trying to get a video to load here, but it doesn't want to load. Oh, there it is. Hey. Okay, good. I'm just going to be rolling this. This is my little clip that I had posted to Patreon before. I gave you guys a sneak peek yesterday or last week. Yeah, man, had a lot of fun doing this. And of course, you know, still been using the vest. I've actually put like several hours into the vest, mainly due to 2 games mostly, which is Gran Turismo 7, of course. And you know, just a little extra details like on this video, and why I wanted to make it. You know, I've been having lots of fun with it, and it was really fun to kind of share my thoughts on it. I did some tech demonstrations like you see here with like No Man's Sky. Dude, like I didn't really explain any of this in the video, but this moment here where the sandworm comes barreling towards me and plummets into the ground, and the vest, you just see it light up completely red. That was like a pretty amazing moment. And there's still some things like I want to do some live streams with the vest, you know, shed a couple more details on it. Of course, some of the stuff is currently under embargo, but I was able to show off the at least the audio to haptics mode, which has been the big surprise, kind of the saving grace for me, because it's like we're kind of sitting around waiting for like to see what all native games are going to get native support. We know Legendary Tales is getting native support, which is huge. We also know Breachers is, but beyond that, there's not really been like any official announcement, so we're going to have to wait and see. But in the meantime, it was really nice discovering this audio to haptics mode, and testing this stuff like VR Skater, where, you know, I had to turn off the music obviously, but it was amazing to get to use it and get to feel like the trucks rolling, and it worked surprisingly well with VR Skater. So that was really cool to see how many different games it actually works really, really well with. Stuff like Resident Evil that I showed, that actually has a Resident Evil profile that somebody made on the bHaptics application, which you have to have like a PC to be able to modify it. You don't have to permanently be connected to a PC, but in order to like change the profile, the temporary profile that you want to use or whatever, you do have to use it. The fun thing about Galaxy Kart, which I missed my chance to talk about while it was on the screen, Galaxy Kart there's actually a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe profile that I use with Galaxy Kart, and it works great. It's awesome. We got some more peeps rolling in here. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for jumping in. Stingray X Salvador, I gave you a shout out, Sal, for missing your tip last week. Sorry about that, homie. See, Mirza says, can you get me a 90% promo code for bHaptics? I'll try to get like a 10%, which only brings it to $500. Yeah, the thing is expensive, man. So you really do have to be like a heavy VR enthusiast. If you're just on PSVR2, obviously it's going to depend mostly on like how much native support it gets. Although the audio to haptics mode, as demonstrating here, does work and does have some functionality. This vest reaction you're seeing is actually the real like vest reaction to the Resident Evil profile on this one. So that's pretty cool. Some games, like I said in the video, some games were completely unplayable, like Pavlov. It was just the vest was going off all the time. And then I was able to switch it, and while not like perfect in every single way, obviously some noise is going to pick up and make some reactions. But games like Resident Evil actually turned out really, really well. I was very surprised, which is a big one, obviously, because that's a AAA VR game. And yeah, so shout out to all the people in that make these bHaptics profiles. Yeah, because that's such a game changer for this, and I look forward to seeing people do more, many, many more. And the interesting thing is like I said, some games don't have their own profile, but there's a similar one in a lot of cases. Like I said, for Galaxy Kart, I used a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe profile, and it worked perfectly. For Gran Turismo, you can use like there's a Forza Horizon 5 or Forza 5 profile. It's pretty interesting how you can kind of just make it work in so many different ways. Looper, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Name Squad in the house. Also Elite Name Squad in the house. Blue Jew Underground Cat. This one says happy Thursday. I love it. Game Cat, Andrew Ehrenreich, Blue Morpho. Yeah, Blue Morpho. There is the new Walkabout DLC today. I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but pretty cool that they remastered the Cherry Blossom course. I look forward to checking that out. It's not like the remaster that I would like hope for, obviously, but it still makes a big difference overall, and it does matter. So I will definitely get in there and check it out. Sunny in VR, Scott, the PSVR Game Cat. This guy, guys, this chat today is going to be this is going to be true to form interactive chat, because we do have some big things to talk about. But last week was so jam-packed that I didn't get to talk with you guys, and half of this channel is all about like interacting with you guys and letting your voices be heard as well. But yeah, man, again, thank you to everybody who checked out the vest video. I look forward to sharing some more. I can't wait to do some live streams. There's all these like little interesting tips and tricks that I want to like give for it and stuff. And of course, I can't wait to get into more of the native support. The audio to haptics was a huge surprise on how good it is. That's going to fill a lot of gaps and add value and use to the vest, which is really nice. I meant it when I said there are some games I cannot play without the vest anymore. Galaxy Kart is one of them. Epic Roller Coaster has been one of my favorites. Dude, Epic Roller Coaster is like a game changer for that. It is so much fun with that. Now the next thing we got to do is try and get No Man's Sky to get native support, and Madison VR. That's what I want. No Man's Sky is pretty good. No Man's Sky will still capture some of the magical moments, but like point to point gameplay, it is a little like overreactive like all the time. But I still prefer it with it than without it. Flying the ships, going up into space, getting that to feel that extra layer of immersion. But yeah, man, can't wait to feature this thing more and do some live streams with it. And super good stuff. So now it is time to get into some stuffs here, some other stuffs. But we will definitely have more on the haptic vest because it's pretty cool. Which brings us to, we have received the top 10 downloads of May 2024 for PSVR2. Now I'm not going to go into every single game here because some of them I don't care, but I just wanted to point out some notable things. Stride Fates, surprisingly, made the cut. I don't know if that's because the game actually sold a bunch or if the numbers are just so low that it charted. No, but surprising there. The good news here, like even though I think Stride is a horrible disappointment of a game, the good news is that they did at least go back and update it. So thank you to the devs for that one. But again, my biggest complaint about Stride Fates was they took my favorite part about Stride, which was the parkour, and they made that they made it such very little parkouring and a whole lot of first-person shootering, and it sucks as a first-person shooter. It is terrible, and that's the majority of the game that I've played so far. So really sucks what they did with that, but like I said, at least they updated it. Pavlov back on the charts, which is really nice to see. I don't know if that ever left. I don't think so. It might have though. But Pavlov is amazing. Top 10, at least top 15 PSVR2 game. in my opinion. I think it's a top 10 game. Still has an active player base. It's kind of the firewall of this generation in terms of being the only active and most populated first-person shooter multiplayer game that's available. Legendary Tales is back on the charts. Woo! So nice to see. That is, of course, due to obviously it having a little bit of a sale. I think it had like a 15-20% discount. Maybe it was 20. But it was nice to see that pop back up again, which is really good because that's an expensive game. So nice to see that helped give it a boost to make enough people to go and try it. Again, like top 10 game, I think in our top list, it ended up at like number 6. Fought hard for that one. Game is amazing, and I, can't wait for native support and to get to talk about that and stuff. So, also quick little shout out. I didn't mean to skip over Waltz of the Wizard, but shout out to Waltz of the Wizard for being a nice little tech demo-y thing. Pretty quality tech demo. At number 2, you love to see it, man. You love to see new releases do really well. And Madison VR. I'm actually surprised. I'm actually a little surprised at the success that Madison has had. Not because it doesn't deserve it. It 100% deserves it. It actually deserves to be number 1 in this chart. But I'm surprised because of how damn scary it is. So I'm proud of y'all, you crazy bastards out there, for being brave enough to play Madison VR. Fantastic game. So good. And super scary. Super duper scary. But I love that game to death. That's one I want Haptics Vest support for next so that I can replay that again. I will replay it regardless because it's just such a fun game. It's just so scary. That's the only reason I haven't yet. And of course, number 1, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. That was on sale for $13 last month. So that is a deep discount for Star Wars. It was a great deal, and looks like everybody picked it up, which was a wise choice for that price. Excellent deal. So there it is, your May 2024 edition top 10 PSVR2 downloads. Good stuff, man. Good to see some games that are near and dear to my heart pop back up in here. And let's see. So let's get rid of that. And time to move on to the next thing. But before we do, I got to give 2 quick shout outs. First is to Elderly Morningstar. Thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate the love and support. Right back at you. Appreciate it. Says thanks for the review of the Haptics Vest. Game changer. It really is. If I wasn't addicted to Gran Turismo 7 enough as it is, like now, every time I step on that pedal and feel the engine roaring across my chest and my back and stuff, it's like, oh, yes, it's so good. Appreciate the donation, Elderly. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could try out the cheaper one, the X16. Maybe I can or something, but at the very least, like again, very big tech enthusiast item. Gonna have some limitations for sure, but if it fits with the games that you will get tons of hours out of, then it'll be worth it to you 100%. There's no denying the quality of the vest. But everybody's different. Everybody's got different budgets. So, I hesitate to say like, everybody go out and buy it. Although I think it deserves it. But I understand like that's expensive. But similar to like my racing wheel, it's one of those things that you can invest in and hopefully you get plenty of mileage out of it. No pun intended. Scott, the PSVR game cat for life. Thank you so much, my friend. Says $2, £2 towards the next VR thing. You need a treadmill. I don't want a treadmill, man. The Haptics Vest is I like, the more immersive, the better. Yes, the better the VR experience. This is true, but I don't want to. I really don't want a treadmill. The vest is like something that, as a gamer, first and foremost, the vest works really well for me because you don't got to do anything. You just got to put it on, and that's it. I don't even like walking around my room. I like staying in one place. So I'm kind of a gamer VR enthusiast hybrid. And the vest for me is like one of those accessories like the aim controller or something else that is just like, it works. It works if you're just more interested in the gaming side of things, instead of just about the immersive experience alone. Although it helps like that. Awesome Tatum says Star Wars is the best version on PSVR2. Yes, it definitely is. Have to agree with there. Melkaya the Soul Reaving Game Cat Raziel says just bought the Thrustmaster TLCM pedals as an upgrade to my racing rig. Excited for more realistic pedal feel, especially the brake. Interesting. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, I hope it turns out well. I've got the T150 Pro with the metal pedals, and I love it. But yeah, man. All right, so time to move on in our news. All right, we got to get this out of the way real quick and share this story, this discussion. This, of course, is in regards. This is the explanation that we were given as to why Astrobot is not getting VR support, and I found this a little interesting, and I definitely have some thoughts on this, and maybe you can offer from my perspective some different new ways to look at this as well. But this came to us through many sources, but I'm going to be using Push Square, and the title is PS5's Astrobot doesn't support PSVR2 because it was never designed to do so. And this, of course, comes from Nicholas Doucette over, I think this was interviews that were going around from like Summer Games Fest. People were talking about it. And he said, quote, "When we talk about VR versus non-VR, for a game like Astro, if you were to make a VR version, it has to be fully designed for that medium. And if it's not for a VR version, it has to be fully designed for that medium." He elaborates, "Certain games can afford to be hybrid, like first-person games, because there's a closer similarity. But in our cases, the design philosophy for both are very, very different. So, it was a decision to expand on the world of Astro's playroom and bring Astro to the big stage. So, from the beginning, that was really our focus." Now, I have some thoughts on this, and while I share these thoughts, I'm going to roll footage of me playing Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, in VR using Unreal Engine and say, "I disagree, sir." No, but like, this is the interesting thing here, is that when they made Astrobot Rescue Mission, he actually shared a similar sentiment about this. A lot of people were asking, why is this not a flat game? Why is this a non-VR game? Why is it VR only? And so, if anything, he's consistent, at least in his philosophy. And I think what he's saying, and this is in regards to, is the way the levels are designed and the different levels of verticality and certain ways that they do, like the point of view and different things like that. They took a lot of consideration for that into account when making Astrobot Rescue Mission. Anyone who's played it, anyone who's been lucky enough to play it, I still have my PSVR1, of course, knows that, I can understand their philosophy, what they're saying. I just also happen to completely disagree with it, that this is the only way. This strikes me as kind of like Sony or Team Asobi in this case, just being like, it has to be one or the other. There's like, it's going to totally affect the way. And to some degree, I understand, because if you put a third person camera as the VR or the headset, the VR headset as just a third person camera, there are going to be people coming out there going, well, what's the point of it? What is this? And this is the design. This isn't necessarily, this is the design philosophy that they have, that they're stuck on, that that simply just isn't the real picture, the big picture here, is that we would be happy to play Astrobot Rescue Mission or Astrobot in any way in VR. Like, that would actually make a lot of people very happy, myself included, as I'm here explaining to you, having the time of my life playing Crash Bandicoot 4 in VR. So I get why they decided on this, money. But I disagree, man. I disagree. I understand that it's frustrating. It's frustrating because a lot of us would be super happy with just a third-person VR camera for Astrobot VR. And in my opinion, that works more with third-person platformers than it does, like first-person games. Although we've had some first-person games, some third-person games. Resident Evil 4, anybody? What everybody considers the best first-person game, or one of the best VR games like ever made, is Resident Evil 4. That's a third-person game where you play as Leon, and they were able to design, convert it to VR. They had a couple, of course, compromises, things like the third-person camera for jumping and climbing and stuff, but it's fine, man. It's fine. Not everything has to be perfect, and this is the part that annoys me, is that to them, everything has to be like super perfect and has to be, everything has to be done the most perfect way possible and the most immersive, blow you away. Quit trying to worry about doing something to pat yourself on the back and just make something that people would enjoy. It's not that difficult. Like, I get it. You'd be able to pat yourself on the back if it was a completely designed for VR thing. But that it doesn't matter. You're just trying to make your customers happy, and that's all that it would take. So again, I get it. It's everything with VR is a little bit more complex these days because you still have that audience that's kind of like, like doesn't get it. They don't understand. Maybe they haven't tried it. There's several different reasons. And there would be people going, well, what's the point of this? What's the point of Astrobot being in VR? Well, here's us that play VR every single day telling you there's a point to it. And it's really, really enjoyable. Azik says, I would prefer if they designed it for PSVR2. Of course. It would be better that way. I would still accept being able to just have a third-person VR camera. Although I agree with you. My hope and my dream would be that, there was the Astrobot flat version, and then you play it with PSVR2, and it's designed with two controllers in mind. Or, I wanted to see an Astrobot. I'd like to see an Astrobot that utilizes the tech of the headset. Things like, imagine what Team Asobi could do with the technology, like eye tracking, with the haptics, the rumble, all sorts of different things are possible with that. I'd love to see what they could have done with like eye tracking, things like that. So of course it would be better to be designed for PSVR2. But again, when it comes, for me and my experience so far, when it comes to third-person platformers, like, you can get away with it just being in VR, because in most cases, a lot of VR games, a lot of third-person platformers are still designed to give you control of the camera, and you can zoom around, and everywhere you see is designed to have some kind of beautiful graphics in place or backgrounds, and all of this looks stunning. Visually, it would be enough to make the game look amazing, because you'd still get to turn your head around and just see nothing but these beautifully designed environments with high fidelity graphics, and it would be awesome. It'd be a wonderful experience. I think it's acceptable for things like that while VR is still kind of like growing. Things like this are still acceptable at this time. But yeah, that's basically my quick little rant on Astrobot and the comments toward that. Like I said, he is consistent. I'll give him that, because they've been saying something similar to this for years now, even when they designed Astrobot Rescue Mission. Here's the other thing though. Remake Astrobot Rescue Mission. Bring it. Bring us a remake. You don't want to build you don't want to even do so much as lift a pinky and add a VR camera to Astrobot. Please do that still. Then fine. But remaster or remake Astrobot Rescue Mission. You cowards. You cowards. That would be nice. That's the frustrating part, man. It's just you give us nothing. Nothing. But anyways, I look forward to playing Crash 4 on my PSVR2. I look forward to playing Spyro. I look forward to playing not Little Big Planet. What's that? Sackboy's Adventure. I look forward to playing those. I'll be honest with you. Playing these has made the sting of Astrobot a lot less. It has made it a lot better because I'm like, well, that sucks, but hey, I got this. I got the mascot that I actually grew up with playing. But yeah. Headbite says, Brian said yesterday that he still has hope that part of Asobi is cooking up something for PSVR2. I'm with him on that. I mean, with all the backlash they've gotten, it's possible they could do something to try and please fans, but to me, it doesn't matter. It's frustrating that, that they've already made the game and there was no thought of VR ever in it. So, it's whatever they do, it's going to be too late, too little, too late by this point. It could be awesome, but less and less people are going to care as time goes on. So they screwed the pooch here, man. They screwed the pooch. It would have been something nice, but again, I've got other things to look forward to instead in its absence. All right. So thank you for indulging me in that quick rant. At least just know that you'll get to play some other really great platformers soon, like Crash, Spyro, and Sackboy. And hell, if Astrobot comes to PSVR2, if Astrobot comes to PC in like a year or two, then you damn right somebody's gonna hack that and get that PSVR2 mode going. All right, so some new releases came out recently. Yesterday, we had an update that is not showing on my screen for some reason. An update to Kayak VR Mirage. There we go. It was just a little slow getting going. Now, I'm going to be using some trailer footage here because I did record some of my own footage, but then when I watched it, it was awful footage. It was like the head was like shaking like crazy. So I just was like, screw it. I'll just use the damn trailer footage. So apologies on that. You guys know I like to typically use my own footage here. But I wanted to give some thoughts on this because my footage is awful. So Kayak VR Mirage got actually a couple different snippets of news yesterday. First of all, it is coming to PlayStation Plus Premium, June 18th, I believe, which is great news. This is now 7 games added to the PSVR2 catalog. I want to see that catalog keep growing. And I think Kayak VR Mirage is a great addition to that catalog because this is always from day one has been an excellent, I think, tech demo to kind of showcase graphics and physics and haptics. I think it does a really good job at these things. And so yesterday I checked out the Soca DLC, and this is a brand new area, supposed to be like their biggest yet, and it adds a couple different things here. There is, of course, the normal like free roam mode that you can go through. There's a race mode. And then there's the fun part, which is the whitewater rapids. Now, at first, I was a little disappointed because I did the free roam and I did the whitewater rapids, and it was like literally a minute or two long, and it just dumps you at the end, at the beginning of the other town area. And I was like, that's it. But there was a saving grace here. There was a saving grace, and that is that the whitewater rapids racing mode. It adds 3 race courses to the whitewater mode. You know what I can do for you guys? If you want to see it, if you really want to see it, I can add my footage. I'll just show it, but I'm just gonna warn you, this footage, my head is wobbling like crazy. So, but screw it. Let's have some fun. And I will throw the footage here. Now I might have to mute this real quick. Let's see here. Is it even going to work? Okay. All right. Here's the actual footage of my shaky head camera. But this was the actual fun part of this DLC for me. I actually really enjoy the whitewater rafting stuff. Again, sorry for the shaky camera. This has, and now they've added something else, which is the full body or full upper body IK to the avatars, which is pretty cool. It looks really nice. This game never really had too much of a graphical problem, other than some small technical things. But what I realized about this game and the whitewater rapids and how much and why I like this so much is it made me realize how boring the normal modes are. Like the whitewater rapids, you have to, like, it kind of pushes you along. You don't have to do every single ounce of work to just move a little bit. I actually really like this area for it being kind of like pushing you along and helping you with it. And then you're fighting against currents and you're going down little tiny waterfalls or water drop offs and stuff. And this was fun. This was like the first time I was like, I replayed these race levels like over and over and over, trying to beat the score. I replayed these over and over. These were really, really good. These 3 race maps or whatever that are in the whitewater rapids. They were actually done really well. And yeah, that was my favorite part about this DLC so far. And again, this was the first time that I not only felt like Kayak VR was actually becoming a game, but it was actually becoming fun as well. And on top of that, you know, it's a great technical thing. Now not everything was perfect here. From a technical standpoint, you know, this game, it did have this. It was kind of known for using reprojection and looking kind of like, I've always described reprojection the best way for me. Some people can tell by just like ghosting or whatever, moving their hand or whatever. I mostly tell reprojection by it actually looking like a projector screen, like I'm looking at a projector screen instead of everything being super crisp and clear. And they did do some optimizations. They actually said, like, you'll notice some visual optimizations. And I thought that they had removed the reprojection here. However, the one other thing I did notice was that there's a little bit more pop-in. So I thought that they had maybe optimized it or chose to get rid of reprojection and trade it for a little bit of pop-in, which personally, I think I would take a little bit of pop-in, but it is noticeable for sure. But I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably choose a little bit of pop-in. So visually, I think it does look better overall. But like I said, it's not totally perfect. There is some pop-in. I do feel like the resolution is not as sharp as it could be. But that being said, graphically, it still does look pretty nice overall. It looks really stunning. They do a great job with lighting, textures, things like that. And of course, like like I've always said, I love the physics in this game. I love the way the water looks and things like that. So, my favorite part, easily, the 3 race modes for the Whitewater Rapids. That was the first time I've actually been like, wow, like this is actually really fun to play. Now this is the downside here. Scott, the PSVR game Cat for Life, says, how much is the DLC, AJ? This is where I think they made a bad decision. The DLC is $8, which is like literally what half of the game cost right now if it's still on sale. Now in hindsight, that's not a ton of money, but I do feel like for the amount of content here, getting one map is like I feel like it remains to be seen, but I feel like they could have just sold more copies of the game if they just I don't know. Walkabout mini golf and things like that, like they design all new courses, normal mode, night mode, scavenger hunt, secret balls to find, all these things. They charge like $2, $3 for a DLC. I'm not gonna be like mad over like, pinching pennies, a couple dollars here and there, but I just feel like they kind of they hurt themselves a little bit charging $8 for this. I feel like they could have sold more, gotten more people into it. But I get that, like game development costs money and it's expensive and development is hard and devs got to eat too. So to me, it's like the only way I would really recommend buying this is if you want to go out of your way to like support the developers here. I do think you'll get some good playtime out of the race mode if that interests you at all. I do think there is actually some fun game in here. For the other stuff, I don't know, like the free roam, the exploration, it's just more of the same in terms of the free roam, the exploration. Like you're going to get bored. It's pretty boring, but the race mode itself, especially with in particular with the Whitewater Rapids, I thought was really cool. Would I like to pay $8 for that? No, I probably wouldn't. I'd like to pay $3, $4 for that, about half as much. But again, if you're interested in the race mode, want to support the devs, then I would recommend it. Otherwise, I would maybe just wait for it to go on sale or something. I really wish it was a free update. But yeah, that was a long time to wait for just one location, even though it's pretty good. And they have hinted, Kill Artist 1, the Dreamweaver, Game Cat, says, imagine multiplayer races down rapids. Yeah, I mean, right now they use the asynchronous multiplayer where you don't actually race in real time against people. It's kind of like racing against their ghost. And it's kind of goofy. Like, I mean, it works to me. It still feels like you still feel the presence of others. It's kind of cool to see their, what they did and how their movements are and stuff. So, but yeah, it looks like real-time multiplayer is around the corner, which I think will help some, but they need to add more content to this game. They need more levels like this Whitewater Rapids and stuff. Just adding multiplayer alone is not going to be enough. They gotta add a little bit more to it. Distracted said, I love a haptic suit for this. Yeah, I didn't try the suit with it, although I was tempted, but I don't know if that would even work right. Maybe for the Whitewater Rapids level. But yeah, man. So that is it for Kayak VR. Pretty, definitely a step forward, I think, but a small step forward. I want to see a bigger step forward. I want to see them get kind of crazy, get kind of goofy with this game. Have some fun with it, man. Like, it's a game. Have some fun. I think the Whitewater Rapids is great. More stuff like that. Let's get crazy. All right. In other news, okay, this is a surprising game. So, Retropolis VR or Retropolis 2 came out or is coming out. I can't remember. I thought it was coming out tomorrow, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's today. I thought it was coming out at midnight though, but it sounded like it may have dropped today. But so I've only played and I've only got an old Quest trailer for this. But all I got to say, guys, is don't sleep on this game. Retropolis 2, Never Say Goodbye, is a point-and-click adventure, a true point-and-click adventure designed for VR, and it takes place in like a futuristic world where you play as a robot detective named Philip, and you're trying to find what happened to your girlfriend Jenny, and it basically takes you on a little cop noir detective kind of thing. And, you know, my experience with point and click adventures is kind of limited. Brian thinks it's not as limited as I say it is, but I'm a huge fan of the Monkey Island series. Like, I loved the original Monkey Island games. That was like the majority of my point and click adventure experience, is basically playing all of those except for the Telltale ones all the way through start to finish, like multiple times. So this has honestly been, so I've only played the first like hour and 20 maybe. But guys, I gotta say, man, this is the best point and click adventure designed for VR that I think I've played to date. There's so many things I like about this, and there's so many things that they get right that feels good. That, you know, my problem with most point and click adventures in VR that I've played is that they're freaking boring. Like, I get so tired of them so quickly. Like, I don't have any fun. I like, the mechanics don't feel like well designed or anything. The graphics are not usually there. This is not that, man. I've actually been really impressed. I've been really impressed with Retropolis 2 so far, and it's been very surprising to me. I legit did not want to stop playing last night when I played the first hour and a half, and that's hard to do for like a point and click adventure game. I'll be honest with you, like, I was excited about this game, and then when it came time to play it, I was like, I'm not really in the mood. But sometimes with VR, you just got to throw yourself in and start playing it. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, a good game will prove itself to you. And this game is good, if not great. You know, I really like the storytelling. I love the art style. So this game is unique in that it's all like hand painted. Like, everything is like hand painted, I think from within VR or something like that. But this, to me, when it was starting out, I was like, okay, this is going to be a very much an artsy kind of game, which are good every now and then. You know, this isn't gonna go out and make people, like, you know, super excited to play it or whatever. Yeah, this isn't exactly like a hype game, but it is, from what I've experienced so far, a good game and a fun one, and it has that artistic element, that creativity, something that, you know, if you've been looking for like a creative game, this is definitely going to scratch that itch. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've played like a fun creative game, and this is very much so. So it's very much going around solving puzzles room to room. There's narration going on. There's some dialogue choices, and then of course it kind of works like an escape room where you have to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. This to me is where it was very reminiscent to old school point and click adventures like Monkey Island for me, which is like, you got to kind of figure out like what's going on and what it's trying to get you to do, what objects you're supposed to be interacting with, and how you want to use them together. A lot of the times, sometimes you can go into like multiple rooms at once, or go into multiple rooms and you find something in another room to help you come back and solve a puzzle here. So I've been pleasantly surprised by this game, and I really look forward to finishing it. The atmosphere is also really good. The atmosphere, the music is fantastic. It really captures a really awesome vibe that is just cool and fun. Now I've seen some people talking about like the voice acting and stuff, and I thought the voice acting was fine of the main character. I do agree. I saw parts of Brian's review where he was talking about like the voice sounds like it's trying to hold back an accent or something. Like, yeah, like I can see that. But overall, like I think the dialogue and everything is pretty good. Mark Poppin Pringles Leaf says, AJ, you can buy it now in the UK store. Hell yeah. How much is it? I forgot how much this game is. It's probably $25, I imagine. Yeah, it is $25. Nihilus Ryan, my metal feline friend, says Brian and AJ like this one. Definitely getting it now. Yeah, man, it's good. Like especially if you want like a good point and click adventure, it is good. It doesn't take very long to see for it to get going. The pacing is good. The puzzles are good. The gameplay is good. The art, the music, the atmosphere, all this stuff. There's really cool stuff in this game that I really, really like. Mark says it took them 2.5 million virtual brushstrokes to handcraft the game. That's right. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, artistically, I love the art design of this game. That's something else. The way it's like animated, it's just really unique. You know, it's kind of like one of those one-offs where it's something like, oh, if like this was in claymation or some, you know, unique art style. It's a very unique title, but it's also good, and that's the important part. That's the number one most important part. I did not have Apprentice Summer Skills. I didn't have much of a problem with the main character's protagonist voice. While I can see some people pointing some things out here and there, it was definitely not something that bothered me. It still captures the essence of that detective narrating everything out loud to himself. And it's kind of goofy, but it works. It works fine for me. And there's a couple really good jokes and references in here as well that I was able to appreciate. All right, but Retropolis, man, so far, like, I give it a thumbs up, dude. Like, I am surprised how much I'm enjoying it. And again, to date, I feel like it is the best point and click adventure that I've played in VR so far, which is saying a lot. Well, kind of. There hasn't been that many, but yeah, easily the best. So yeah, man, from what I've played, would recommend it. I look forward to jumping in more. All right, so guys, it is news time because we got some brand new announcements. Aces of Thunder has finally crawled out of the darkness and given us an update. Of course, this is the competitive World War II dogfighting shooter that is going to be coming to PlayStation VR2. And I've gathered all of the information I can regarding this game, and am sharing it alongside this new look at gameplay, where they're showing us, I think it's like one of the new Soviet vehicles that they've added to this game. But yeah, so let's break it down from all the info that we have here. Aces of Thunder is a competitive World War II aerial combat game. It does seem like it is going to be online required. It is multiplayer focused, similar to this studio's other title, War Thunder. The good news here is that they are experienced in this genre, and War Thunder is extremely popular. So while that's kind of in most cases a death sentence for a lot of games, I think they're in a good position to get away with it here, potentially. This game is specifically designed for the qualities of the PlayStation VR2. They have confirmed that it is native 90 frames per second, which is great. And it will have headset vibration as well as haptics. This game has also been confirmed to have HOTAS support, which is so important. One of the things that really pissed us off about Project Wingman was like they didn't even give us HOTAS support, which is like the least you can do. Now it does support the orbs as well. So you'll have the option, it sounds like, to either use the orbs if you want those haptics and adaptive triggers. Most people do not like in-game HOTASes or in-game steering wheels. I do. I think that they're fun. I think that they're immersive. As long as they work pretty well, I think they're fine. But I completely understand it, it usually doesn't get more immersive than a HOTAS. I don't know why I seem to be the outlier here that likes virtual joysticks. Am I the only one? Is there anybody out there that agrees that virtual joysticks are good? But anyways, so you do have those things here. A lot of people definitely seem very, very excited about this game. There's lots of hype going into it. I guess for a couple different reasons. I was actually surprised to see people so excited about a World War II dogfighting game, but it makes sense. It's always fun, these time period style games. But yeah, we've got some more info on this. So they've said that it's going to be it's going to have physically accurate flight and damage, which will do some good in terms of immersion. The only two confirmed modes are team versus, which is like a squad versus a squad, pretty much sounds like, and then single duels mode. So it sounds like there's a team deathmatch style thing, which is probably going to be the most fun. And then there's a solo 1v1 mano style, mano a mano style, like duels and stuff, which is pretty cool. I'm not usually into that. Like if I'm going to be playing multiplayer, which is rare, I like, in most cases, like tons of people, tons of chaos. So what I really liked about Star Wars Squadrons. Yeah, man. So the last thing is that they have also confirmed, whoops, that's the wrong thing. They have also confirmed that it's going to have dozens, is their words, not mine, dozens of World War II, authentic World War II plane models in it. So that should be interesting. Stuff like the Mustang, the U.S. fighter. They were showcasing the Soviet aircraft in this video here. And then, of course, I'm sure there's going to be ones from every country, everybody involved, and all sorts of different things. So I wasn't even aware that there were that many different types of World War II plane models. I'm only aware of a couple different ones, but we'll see. I'll probably end up sticking with one or two anyways. But yeah, man, nice to see them. They didn't even share this on all their socials. They just posted this video on Instagram. Made me go to Instagram for the first time to get this video. But it was just nice to see that it's still in development. The dogfighting's looking pretty good. The terrain itself is also looking really, really nice. So this game is, like I said, this game is getting some hype going. I've definitely seen some people this game has almost 1 million views on YouTube, which is, I don't know if I've seen another PSVR2 game get this much attention, this many views going. So that's pretty nice to see. A lot of interest. People are definitely interested in this one. So looking forward to seeing more on it, hopefully very soon. Hopefully it comes out this year. But I will say, let them cook, man. Let them cook. Take your time. If anything, I'd rather this game come out next year and be amazing than to get released, way too soon and suck, and then have to wait on patches and then totally screw up its launch. I do not want that to happen here. And it sounds like they're going the right route here. They're taking their time. They're adding content. They're adding quality and polish to it. And so hopefully it turns out well. I like that there's a little glimpse at an ice level too, shortly there. for a brief moment. You see some grassy areas, some different times of like grasslands, and then they briefly there's like a river going through that thing with a lake. And then you see, of course, like a snowy area is what it looks like right there. So some nice different environmental change-ups here. All right, good stuff, man. Looking forward to seeing more on Aces of Thunder, hopefully soon, and learning more about the content and features. And I hope it's good, and I hope it has some legs, because this would be an awesome one if they can maintain this like War Thunder and keep it going. Keep the servers alive, and keep the content rolling in, because this has a lot of potential here in the absence of other really, really amazing realistic games. All right, so before we get into our last news story, I had missed a tip. Sorry about that. We got 2 tips here to get to. Truth Hurts, Mutant Ninja Game Cat. Thank you so much for the $5 donation, my friend. I appreciate the love and support. Right back at you. Says Sony kills me sometimes. They have so many awesome flat games they own that can easily be put in VR and take over VR, but they won't. Well, it's a combination of things. Money is definitely one of them. And as a business, we saw all the cuts that are going around daily. Latest victims being Similab. And it's unfortunate that excuse me, I sneezed. It's unfortunate that, we're kind of going through this post-COVID restructure of the games industry. And it's an amalgamation of things. There's the games industry is becoming more popular. Games are making more than money. I mean, more than movies and the music industry combined at this time. And when stuff like this starts making money like this, it starts to get more business people involved, and less. It always runs the danger of becoming more about business and making some folks rich and sustainability than it does, the creativity or the innovation. Hopefully the games industry does not go the same route that music does and that movies have gone, where it becomes basically a barren wasteland where once every 5-10 years you get like, a good piece of entertainment. Hopefully that's not the case here, but I'm going on a long rant here, man. The answers seem so easy, but when you are working with a big company, it's not always as easy as something as like a mom and pop shop can get away with. Some of these things take a lot of time, a lot of processes that they have to go through, a lot of red tape, and that being said, yeah, on top of this all, it is sometimes just like all you had to do was ABC and you'd be in a much better place. Like, don't you want our money? And it gets frustrating sometimes, but at the end of the day, don't let them fool you 1 second, because these are, at the end of the day, giant corporations that just want to make money, and that's what they care about first and foremost. And please, investors and shareholders and stuff, they don't make decisions based on making you happy. They did, and it kind of cost them. So now it's so many different things. It's a complex thing. It's not just like one person at the top going, I don't like this decision, I like screw VR or whatever. It's a lot of different factors that play into decisions like these. And yeah, it's unfortunate. The truth is that Sony did release the PlayStation VR2 with Resident Evil 8, with Gran Turismo 7, with Horizon, I guess. I mean, Resident Evil 8 and Gran Turismo 7 should have been enough to light the world on fire, and it didn't. So, they did do some things to try and do this, to try and get get more sales, more investment going, and it failed. It did not work to a sustainable degree. And yeah, but here's the thing, man, is like VR as a whole is not going anywhere. Whether it be companies doing it, whether it being more independent modders doing it, or small independent studios, somebody is going to be out there making things happen, and we're going to be there, man, to enjoy it and get the best out of it. Hopefully, the external factors start healing and get better and improve, and then we get back to a little bit more of gaming normalcy with some growth and some innovation and some risk taking, because that's when like last gen, when gaming, I feel like gaming really peaked and was super special, but as it turns out that that's a rare occurrence. So when things are good, man, cherish it, and don't take it for granted, and because you never know how long that's going to last. And anyways, that was my 10-minute rant about nothing. Gang Dump, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate the love and support. Right back at you. Keeping that tip train going. Choo choo. Says the God Cannon. Thanks for keeping it real, AJ. Thank you guys, man. I thank you guys for your support as always, and for always having my back, and I got yours as well, always. So we got each other. Pietrek F with the $11.99 plantains. Thank you so much, my friend. So sad that Asobi didn't heard about hybrid or VR mods. Yeah, I mean, again, I covered this earlier, but they have their design philosophy where Sony likes to have their design philosophy where it's like go big or go home, and a lot of the times they just end up going home. They prioritize their PS5 console. That's their priority. They're not in a similar situation like Meta, where it's like all they do is VR, and so the more people they convince into VR, the better. That's not their case. I think in a perfect world, the PSVR2 would have been released as just as an accessory to PlayStation 5, and it lets you play all these PS5 games in a new way, and I feel like that would have been the dream. Of course, that was the dream. But for them, it was doing what they always do, and it's like, no, we have to make spin-offs. We have to make waste millions and millions of dollars on spin-offs on a game that gets a 7 out of 10, trying to, and to their credit, they tried to innovate, they tried to do stuff. But this is why I give Horizon a lot of shit, because at the end of the day, Horizon needed to be something like a Half-Life Alyx, and it wasn't. It ended up being a 7 out of 10 for most people. Yeah, it could have been much better, but we'll see. Hopefully, I don't know, man. Hopefully there's more. At this point, the best hope we have is either moving forward on PC or just some hybrid support. Hopefully there's like more hybrid support to keep things sustainable, keep things growing. Hybrid support in terms of like big AAA games and whatnot. I'm not expecting any AAA built from the ground up VR games from Sony anymore, or a lot of first party support, unfortunately, but they can tack on some hybrid modes, which again, not doing it for Astrobot is not a good sign. Doesn't sound like they're going to be doing that. So we'll have to wait and see if they even give a shit to throw us a bone here and there. I feel more bad for like developers that are giving their all for this platform, and not getting any support. That's who I think are the most affected, people trying to grow the VR scene. But anyways, okay, so after that depressing donations, thank you guys so much for keeping that tip train going. Whoop whoop. All right, guys, so now it's time to bring it up a bit, because we have some exciting new news. This comes to us from EXOcars. Guys, we have a new racing game on the way, and guess what? It looks pretty dope. EXOcars has been officially announced for PlayStation VR2. I'm going to be rolling a little bit of a gameplay snippet of that they've demonstrated. And guys, I'm so excited to see a new racing game coming out to the platform, because quite frankly, I was starting to get a little worried. I'm like, look, Gran Turismo is amazing, but like VR deserves more racing games. Like, this is a genre that works really well, and you know, we don't want to get stuck with another PSVR1 generation thing where literally all we had was like a limited VR mode in sport, and then we had Dirt Rally. Well, I guess there was a couple more. There was like Wipeout, and okay, so there was a little bit more, but I'm talking about at least this gen. Didn't want to be too scarce with the racers, but EXOcars, guys. Let's see what information we can find here. Again, I just gathered all the information I could find and cobbled it together. I'm pretty hyped about this one. Looking at the gameplay, this one is looking pretty damn good. Scott, the PSVR Game Cap for Life, says Motorstorm VR, let's go. More on that in just a little bit. So EXOcars is a physics-based racing game where they do take into account the different terrain that you'll be driving on and the suspension of the vehicles. These look like dune buggies. These are basically, they all look like basically some kind of like high performance racing dune buggies is what it is. This game does seem like they have confirmed wheel support, official wheel support, which is really nice because I need to use that thing with, I need to get more mileage out of that thing. There's going to be ramps, drifts, and obstacles. A variety of tracks, including wilderness and asphalt. And I don't have it showing here, but I can. It is actually on, I think I used it for the thumbnail. Whoa, what am I doing here? We can actually go to the Steam page here and take a look at some of the pictures that they have here. Let's see here. Let me bring this up for you guys so that you can see it. We've got more than just the video clips here. So this is some of the screenshots from the Steam page here. This is, of course, what's shown in the trailer, which is a like kind of deserty, like western track, some sand dunes. Here's a look. This is the picture that I used for the thumbnail. This is a look at some of the asphalt courses. And it looks pretty cool. It's like some of those like drainage tunnels or whatever in like LA or California, wherever these exist. These don't exist in Georgia. So I have no idea where these actually exist. I imagine California. When I brought this up to Brian, he mentioned like the Terminator 2 chase scene. I was like, oh yeah, great reference. I got that reference. But pretty cool. Another little dusty track, dirt track here. With some rampage going on. Another dirt track, more dirt tracks and rampage. Another little cityscape or city sewer drain thing. And yeah, going under some tunnels here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from here. Now, this is the thing about this game. EXOcars is going into early access in August 15th. So those that are going to have PC VR, or those that do, and or going to, will get a chance to play this. Now, this is going to be an important phase for this game because they're going to be relying on lots of play testing and feedback. So if you want your voice heard and you have the means to be able to do so, you can get in on the early access and help them shape this game up. Their plan is to have about a 4-month early access cycle. Now, realistically, let's definitely be prepared for that to take longer. But if that would be the case by some miracle, then this game is, with planning to launch late 2024, late this year, or early 2025. I think early 2025 or like, quarter 2 2025 is the most likely for them to have enough ample time to, do testing, add content, get out of early access. It could be even much longer than that. I think early 2025 is like best case scenario here. But thank you, Bambino. Good to see you, homie. Make that money. But this game looks incredibly fun from what I've seen so far. And now what they're demonstrating here is I saw some people saying like, oh, I wish there was collision. Right now, the game has asynchronous multiplayer, which is basically where, again, like with Kayak VR, where you race against like ghosts, or it's kind of like the same thing you would see in a lot of racing games that have time trials, where you raced against a ghost opponent, meaning that you can compete against them, you see them, but you can't actually interact with them, and you're not interacting with them in real time. The good news here, though, for those that aren't into that, I think that is kind of a good like placeholder. I think asynchronous multiplayer is a good placeholder. It worked well for me for Kayak VR, but of course, real-time multiplayer is the real experience that you want to go for. And the good news here is that the developers have said that they actually almost have real-time multiplayer complete. So in an ideal world, EXOcars devs, if you're listening, this is what I would like to see. I'd like to see a tournament or cup mode where you have like general standings like you would in any racing game typically. Any tournament style thing. I'm going to use Mario Kart as a reference because I'm not super familiar with lots of tournament modes and whatnot, but there's like the Sunday Cup or whatever, the Mushroom Cup, the Star Cup, whatever, different variations of tracks, combinations of tracks and races. And of course, wherever you end up, or each end of each race, you get some points. And then by the end of it, you end up in a certain standing and you try to get the podium on the top 3. I would like that. Also, same goes for like the multiplayer function, like that being able to play like co-op or with a friend or something would be nice. I'm liking the tracks that I'm seeing here. I'd like to see tons of variety, obviously. All that they've mentioned is wilderness and asphalt, and all we've seen basically are the dirt track and then screenshots of that kind of like city drainage, whatever level. That's pretty cool. I'd love to see some downtown city stuff, and also like in the woods or in the snow. Give some visual variety to some of these tracks, and you're golden. It would also be kind of cool to have like a weapons mode. I know that's kind of turning into more of a combat or kart racing game, but I think in the long run that could be pretty fun. And then the last thing, of course, is I see a lot of people mentioning MotorStorm. Here is your chance, devs, if you are listening. Maybe not at launch. Understandable if it's not at launch, because obviously it takes time, takes money, takes development. But if you can get some environmental weather effects, environmental cinematic things going on to make you go, whoa, make it a little bit more fun and exciting. Take a little page out of MotorStorm's book, have some crumbling buildings, some volcanoes exploding, get creative, have fun. These are games at the end of the day, and the more fun and exciting you can make it, the more your game is going to sell and make people like it. I already like what I'm seeing so far. But just want to throw that out there because I know there's a lot of people out there that since they've seen this, they've been mentioning a lot of MotorStorm and stuff. There's a lot of potential here, man. There's a lot of potential here. And the more they can add to it, the more variety, the more content, the better this game will be and do. But super cool stuff, man. So looking forward to Obviously, in August is when the PC VR adapter comes out for PlayStation VR2. So for the first time ever, I will actually probably jump in and try and give some early impressions on the game and to maybe help them with some bugs and feedback and things. This is the cool thing about the PC side of stuff, is you do get to kind of get involved in those early stages and help developers with important data that they need to make their game as best as possible. And then once it gets completed, it leaves early access, and then it goes through Sony certification for 6 months. And I'm just kidding, for a while. And then it finally gets, like, you know, the official release 1.0 version or whatever, and then grows from there. So exciting prospect in this game. I wish the devs the best of luck, and hope it turns out well, because it's looking really, really fun so far, and I can't wait to check it out. But that's it, guys. That is it for today. I have to go and do voiceovers so that we can get this top 25 list done for you guys. Brian has been yelling at me to get it done. No, he really hasn't, but he's been reminding me. Thank God he did, because I totally forgot. Yeah, it is time to get to my voiceovers for the top 25 debate. He's hoping to have that video out for you guys very soon. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate you guys as always. And yeah, man, stay tuned. Gonna be, again, big shift on the focus of the channel, man. Gonna be just trying to stick to all the fun and exciting stuff, the best experiences that VR has to offer within our bubble. We are gonna be exploring everything. Go check out Retropolis, man. Retropolis is really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. Or I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to check it out more. Yeah, man. But thank you so much to all you lovely people in the chat today, coming to hang out, have some fun. Hopefully I was a little bit more interactive with you this time around than I was last week. It was nice. Thank you for always leaving comments and stuff and having conversations. Ezek, speaking of which, I have no idea if this game is going to be cross-platform or not. I hope so. It should be. That would be nice. But yeah, man. So, what is Nick talking about here? Nick in the chat. Let's see here. It says take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes to what, Nick? I missed what's going on. I totally missed something. But thank you guys so much, man. Thank you so much for your donations and support. It really helps me. I promise you. I can't thank you enough for doing that. It really means a lot, man, and it really helps. And thank you to all these lovely fine people down here that support me on patreon.com/PSVR Underground. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll have some more stuff for you soon. Probably drop there was something I wanted to do on there. So I look forward to sharing. If you're ever interested in getting some early access stuff or some write-ups, things like that. Oh yeah. Nick says the voiceovers, right? Okay, yeah, gonna do that after this. I can't do it while I'm working, Nick. I only have 2 hands. But yeah, man. Love you guys, man. Appreciate you, and stay awesome. Stay having fun and gaming in the VR goodness. And yeah, man, we'll see you again next week for some more. And yeah, man, y'all have a great night. Let's get out of here with the hold screen and some metal. Scott, the PSVR game cat for life. Thank you so much, my friend. That's Ryan, my metal feline friend. When's Hellsweeper coming, man? That's what I want to know. That's the important question here. Where the hell is Metal Hellsinger? Did I say Hellsweeper? I meant Metal Hellsinger. I don't know what I said. One of those games. They're both good. Four Wheeling. Thank you so much, man. Old Darth. Better late than never, man. Till next time, my friend. Time to play VR. Hey, time to play VR. Does this mean you can hear me again? Yay! Y'all have a wonderful night. Mark Smith, Scott Dracula, Awesome Tatum in the house tonight, Nick Mulo, Trusty Mod in the house watching you in your every move. UPO Coleccionador de Games. Hello, thank you so much for the love and support, man. Right back at you. Have a great night, my friend. Red Rover, the effing Game Cat. Acavario. Azik. Blue Jew Underground Cat Elite Name Squad in the house. Bambino Ramos getting back to work, homie. Magnum Gaming, good to see you, man. All of you. Till next time.